Hello, Internet, or hi, Internet, I guess I should say. Whoops, which way is the orientation? There we go. Um, I haven't talked about games yet, which is funny because I play a lot of games. You can actually see many of them. Ooh, the orientation's all funky. That's a bunch of board games. I also play a bunch of video games, and I was not going to do artist rendition of like five different video games. So here's my mouse. Instead, we're going to click through some games here. Don't do that. Um, so here's a game I played. And I wanted to talk about games because this game, how convenient, I didn't even notice the screenshot has the name of the game on it. It is The Finals. As you can see, it's a shooty shooty bang bang first person shooter game. I have not in a long time been as infuriated by a game as I have by this one. I was so like, I played it for, I think, a couple hours, two different sessions each. Like, I think maybe the first was a couple hours, the second was maybe about an hour. And I wanted to play this game because a friend of mine is playing, right? Again, I recently moved. A friend of mine back in Virginia is playing this game. He says he's having a lot of fun. It's like, okay, great. It's like, I don't know. I'm not that good at first-person shooters, but I'll try it out. And he was like, oh, it's okay. I'm not that good either. The first play session, I was like, I don't know, John. The second one, I was like, every time I died, I was like, I just want to press Alt F4 and uninstall this game because I'm going to go insane if I have to play more of this. So we'll find another game to play. But what I wanted to talk about, what was so interesting, is like, why does this game infuriate me so much? Because I have played other games like this. Right, there's a lot going on. You can see there's like explosions, and of course, it's fast paced and first person. And you get surprised. Sometimes things shoot you out of nowhere, and you don't know what's happening. But I also played this game a lot. So this is a screenshot of Borderlands, and I mean, just look at like the gun on the bottom right, right? Like it's the same, right? I mean, this is a formula, right? And I've played this game, and I loved this game. I played I don't know how many hours of this game, and I played multiple of them. There's a whole series, Borderlands 1, 2, 3. I don't think we ever beat 3. But I played a shit ton of these games with a friend. Um, and I was thinking, okay, so I've played a game like this. What's different? It's like, well, one of the big differences is, this is very competitive and it's player versus player, and so other players are very skilled, fine. Whereas in this, you're playing against monsters, and even when there are monsters, like obviously this monster isn't shooting guns at you, but even when there are monsters that are shooting guns at you, like every modern first-person shooter, the enemy AI is coded to programmed to take a shot that misses at you just so that oh, I'm under fire, right? So it's being very nice to you, right? Like this is a very, yeah, it's still hard and you can die, but it is ultimately like a power fantasy game. They've done tons of things to make you feel like you're cool and skilled, and overpowered, and you can do all these crazy combos, and you can come back from death with the help of a teammate, which you can in this game too. But like the mechanics in this game, like some of them are just impossible. Like you couldn't make your opponents not shoot at you well, because how would that work for you? You also can't, right? It just doesn't work. And right, I mean, there's other things like that that just don't make sense for a competitive game. So I was like, well, so maybe that's it. But I also played this game. So this is Rocket League. As you can see, you play as a car, and it's ultimately just soccer. There's a soccer ball going into the goal. This game is super competitive, and this game actually played at a competitive level. I would do the ranked games. I would do like even scheduled tournaments, or like, all right, come back at 6 p.m. And I was like, yeah, I'm excited. Let's go. I'm going to play against some other humans, right? And which you don't have that friendliness that the first person shooters that are designed to just give you that power fantasy, right? That's all gone here too. So it's like, okay, so it's not about that. It's like, well, this isn't a first person shooter, and it's like super simple. So maybe that's what it is, right? Because if we go back to this game, something I didn't talk about in the finals, you've got like 3 different builds you can choose from: light, medium, heavy, and then within that there's a bunch of equipment. There's a bunch of different builds and loadouts, and that's all pretty complicated, and there's team compositions to think about. This game is like, there is complexity, but I think it is much easier to pick up. You kind of go gradually. You don't have to worry about team composition or all that complexity. And this game is even simpler. You literally just pick a car. That's it. Like the wheels, everything else, it's all decorative. It has absolutely no effect on gameplay. The only thing that maybe has an effect, and for all I know, pros do care about this, but I don't think it's that important, is the geometry of the car. There are the ball can bounce off your body, and it's not as precise as the vehicle looks, but there are, I forget, there's like 6 or something different shapes that all the cars fit into, and that's the only difference. And again, I don't know that that makes a huge difference, but I'm sure there are pro people who would tell me otherwise. And I played competitively, and I'm like amazing at this game. I would get into silver rank. That was my max. Like sometimes the game would place me in gold, but I would pretty quickly, or kind of inevitably tick down back down into silver where I belong. But I was right happy to do it, even though again, it's not a forgiving game. So is it because it's super simple? Oh, I should also say these are screenshots. I don't even know what it says in the lower left. I didn't notice, so I guess this is Russian or something else that uses Cyrillic. Okay, so maybe I don't like simple games. Oops. Or, sorry, maybe I don't like complex games, right? Maybe that's a theory, but oops, I played a lot of this game. This game is League of Legends, which is one of the most complicated games I've ever played. It's also competitive. So, again, there's just some random screenshot I found. I actually found some YouTube video because I wanted to capture a particular moment to kind of show some things here. So, right, you've got a bunch of spells on the bottom. And the other thing is that you're not seeing here, there's over 100 characters. I think over 120 characters, and there must be now. I haven't played in years, but and you have to learn all those because maybe right in this video they're playing as this character Morgana. I can tell by looking at them. I remember. I don't actually know who that is. Is that Jinx's gun? I don't know what character that is. That angle, that pose is just kind of funky to me, and I think they've got a fancy skin, whereas this just looks like normal Morgana. But anyway, you have to memorize all those characters, and every character has 4 moves, and you had better know all those too, because you want to know when they bust out with their ultimate. What is that going to be? It's important that you know. They have passives. You probably want to know about that too. There's a ton of equipment. There's 6 equipment slots, and it's important. I think there's tons of those, and so the combos. It's insane. Like there's so much to learn about this game, and yet I played a ton of this game. So it's not about the complexity. So again, I'm trying to think, like, why did the finals infuriate me so much? I can't figure it out. Finally, one more game I want to highlight, and I think this maybe once I thought about all these games in combination, I started to come to some sort of conclusion. This actually is a screenshot of my account. This is like the only time, because I still play Dofus actively. So I started it up, got into a little fight, and took a screenshot. So this is pretty complicated. There's I forget how many classes you can choose from, 14 or something. I'm playing as the rogue class. Every class has a bajillion million spells. You can't see my spell bar because it's covered up by this monster preview. But you can see it's very slow. It's a turn-based, tile-based tactical game. You've got time to think, right? I've got 37 seconds to plan my move. I forget what it started at, 40, 50, I don't know. But you have time to think, okay, where am I going to move? Okay, I've got a lot of spells, but you learn them gradually. At first, when you start, you only have like 2 or 3, but then as you play, you're accumulating more and more. But again, you kind of have time to learn them. Something else, again, and this is also, there is a PvP aspect, but I don't actually do the PvP aspect in this game. I only do the player versus monsters, where, again, you really know what you're getting into. I think this is my best guess. And why did I make this video? A, I just wanted to talk about the finals because, again, I was just fascinated by how much I hated it. And then B, why? Why did it drive me so crazy? And again, it's not a bad game. Like, it's very well polished. Like, I have no doubt that people love that game, and they should. Right? It's good. I can tell by looking at it, the quality. It feels like they put effort into it. It's not like the controls were bad, like nothing like that. The sounds were bad. It was a very good and well-polished game. I think all of these games are. Actually, this game here, Dofus, is kind of historically very buggy, and they just did a big release, and it's like crazy buggy these days, but it's always been kind of a buggy game. My best guess for what it is for me, because again, I look over these games and I'm like, okay, this one is insanely complicated. But I never played PvP. That's something else I should mention. I never did the ranked games. I always just played against bots. And not always. They also have a mode where it's called all random, all middle, where, I mean, I don't know how much I want to talk about this, but the normal game, you've got like all these lanes and all these little objectives to do. But they have another mode where they just chop off everything else, and everyone goes down the same lane, and also you get random characters, right? So it's obviously very casual. You've stripped out most of the game. You don't even get to choose your characters out of 120. Just who knows what you get, just deal with it, right? No team composition, it all goes out the window. So it's a very hard game, but I played kind of an easy mode. This is a very easy game to understand, and I was willing to do the very hard mode, right? This is a first-person shooter, but again, it's like really skewed for in the player's favor. So even though kind of mechanically it might be difficult, like aiming, you still have to be fast and reflexes. It's okay. They've skewed it in your favor. I think the problem with the finals for me is that it's just all of the things. It is very punishing, right? You have to be fast. It is relatively complicated. You can't play versus bots. You can only play versus humans. So I don't know. It was interesting to see kind of the diversity of games that I play, but that it's never been all of them in one game, I guess. I don't know. That's my best guess. So I don't know. And if you want that, this could be a great game. Again, it is very well polished. The mechanics are very interesting. You can see like you can just destroy a bunch of terrain. It's very fun, and you can use that in fun tactical ways to like break the ground out from under people, and that's definitely satisfying to pull off. But then for me playing, I just feel like, what's happening? Oh, I fell down. Well, I'm being shot from. I can't even tell which direction. And then it's too late. Like by the time I even had time to read, like, where does this arrow say I'm being shot from, because it's somewhere from behind, I'm like, oh, I better react to that. Too late, you're dead. Like it just is all way too fast. Whereas in this game, again, so forgiving. You've got like these shields. You've got a ton of health. Yeah, I don't know. What was this video? It was a bunch of games. And again, just me thinking about myself. This is a great game. This is one of my favorite games. This game I've stuck with the longest. This game, Dofus, I've been playing for like almost 20 years, which is ridiculous to think about. And I think it must just be, it's a great, again, I think it's a good middle. It is very complex. Some bosses are a little unfair, but ultimately it's up to you what you want to do. So it's very casual. It's only as hard as you ever want it to be. And I think that just works so well for me. Again, or be very simple done. This is okay. This game can be punishing and unforgiving. The games are also fast, though. The stakes feel low. It's like whatever. Every round is only 5 minutes. Yeah, that's about the highest number you're going to see on the timer countdown. So I think even though it is very difficult in a lot of other ways, there's so many other things that just for me, it doesn't matter. So anyway, that's it. Just wanted to talk about some games, and I don't know what else to say. I'm going to stop recording. Thanks for watching. Maybe this was interesting to see the bizarre games that are out there. There are a lot. There are a lot of games. Maybe I'll just talk about some of my absolute favorite games in some video. I don't know why. Why not? There are also the little game design detail about how like enemies are programmed to miss you. There's so many fun game design tricks like that. I would have to scrape my brain to find more of them. I'm not a professional game designer. I know some people who are. Those things, those kind of tricks probably come more top of mind for those people than they do for me. That stuff is always so infinitely fascinating to me, and I'm sure I could find enough of that kind of stuff to talk about too. But there's better channels for that. Go watch Extra Credits. Wonderful, spelled with a Z. What a wonderful channel. All right, goodbye.